Hello, everybody. You know that when you are learning a language, you are learning also information about the culture, about their lives, some social customs. Even we can learn about art, which I know is inside of culture, but every country can provide something new for you. So, learning a language can open so many doors. So this week, I'd like to have the opportunity to share with you some information about English speaking countries. So let's walk through the material. And this is the topic that we'll be developing. The purpose of the session is that we can promote relations of equality and non discrimination when talking about other cultures, their people, their places, their meals, in a cultural project about English speaking countries. So, for this week, we are trying to understand how people from different countries can relate, can behave, eat, socialize, even speak, and we can respect those differences. English is spoken in different countries around the world, but I'm sure that you may know some of them because they are famous and we have more access to them. So I guess we know that English is spoken in the United States, in the United Kingdom, in Canada, Australia, in New Zealand. And also, English is the official language in so many other countries. Now, English is also spoken as a second language in many countries around the world. It's the business language, so it's international. So that's why if you learn English, you're going to have the opportunity to interact with people pretty much around the world. Now, something that the language learning process can provide is knowledge about their culture. If you think about your country and you need to describe it, you probably need to express some information about your behavior, your social customs, and your food. So, one of the most typical foods in the USA is burgers. This is, of course, not the only one. There are also specific celebrations in which they prefer eating something different, or even the burger, among other things. So I have the opportunity to work in a place that celebrates the 4th of July. And what we try to do is replicate a little bit the dynamic that is done in the United States. So the students can experience a little bit of this. So sometimes they prepare a little snacks like hot dogs, corn. They can also prepare some burgers, um, pies. So something else they do in celebrations such as the 4th of July is they use fireworks, they make picnics, they have hot dogs eating contests. So, there are so many things that we can see in videos now that we have internet access, and we can perceive how they celebrate the Independence Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. So that can open the door for us to know a little bit about their culture. We can understand some idiomatic expressions and information about their lives and cultures and behaviors. And we can make better connections with people that are from the United States. Now, in the UK, for example, one typical dish could be fish and chips. They call chips fries. You know that every country that speaks a language, any language, can share some similarities in phrases and also some differences. So I am from a Spanish language country, so we know that in El Salvador, I am from El Salvador, we name some things in a way, and in Mexico, the same thing has a different name and it's the same language. And if you go to Colombia, it's gonna be a different name probably. So we have some differences when we are in a different country because of the culture. But also in the United Kingdom, They enjoy tea. I was discussing with some people in the past about traditions that they have a specific time to do so. In El Salvador, for example, we have something that is not fixed, but people can understand. For example, the coffee hour. So there is a moment in the afternoon in which people can have a cup of coffee, enjoy some bread. So in the UK, it happens the same. They have the tea moment and they can enjoy it. So they do have their traditions. In Canada, they eat what they call poutine, which is something with uh, potatoes and cheese. If I think now that if you go to restaurants that are international food restaurants, we can enjoy a little bit of these flavors. At least in El Salvador, we have some places that sell similar dishes. Probably the flavor and taste not the same as in the original country because the ingredients are gonna be different. But if you are traveling to another country, and sometimes you are curious about how they prepare a similar dish that is from your country, it's good to know that you have options. Or sometimes you stay in a country for a long period of time, maybe because of work or for any other reason, and you are homesick and you want to enjoy at least something that is similar to your cuisine. And it's just a matter of trying to find a restaurant that can prepare it. In Australia, they have what they call a Vegemite on toast. So, if you are curious about these dishes, what I have done when I want to learn more about a country and I don't have the opportunity to travel there yet, is that I look on Google Images and I can see the picture in different sources. And I can also check on YouTube if there is a recipe that I can probably try to prepare. And sometimes we can make projects. I'm a teacher, so we make projects with the students. It depends on the institution, right? What they allow to do, and they can prepare the snacks, and we can enjoy them in class. They can explain the process on how they prepare the dish, so you can give it a try. And for example, in New Zealand, well, they have a meat pie. We do have some things that are maybe similar in our countries, but obviously every country is going to add their own flavor. And I guess it's more about the preparation. There may be a cultural impact uh, of the food. Now, also, if you think about countries, there are places inside the country that are the most memorable places, famous. They can be the most attractive for touristic purposes. But for instance, in the United States, everybody knows that they have the Statue of Liberty, which is a monument. If you think about your country, there may be a monument everybody knows, and that can be the representation of your country to people that are not from there, but they know it, that it is located there. And there may be, there is obviously history about it. So in the UK, there is the Big Ben. So we have towers, churches, monuments, bridges in all the countries, but these are just some examples. In Australia, one of the most famous places is the Sydney Opera House, which is so special because of the design. And it's a place for entertainment. It's so big. If you watch the New Year's Eve's TV shows, you may have seen this a lot of times because it appears as well as the New York's area. And in Canada, the Niagara Falls is also one of the most famous places. In New Zealand, there is a place called Hobbiton. And again, the same dynamic. If you want to know more about these places, now with so many documentaries that are free, you can get in YouTube and watch videos, even vloggers that have traveled to these places, and you can get to see a little bit about these areas and even get information about the prices, how to get there. what to do in these places and what do you need to travel there and feel comfortable. Now, we can talk also about some cultural facts. So, as I was telling you a moment ago, every country can have its own tradition, like the afternoon tea in the UK or Thanksgiving, which is celebrated, yes, in other places, but in the United States, they have a specific holidays that are like well known because if we watch videos, TV shows, movies from the United States, we have seen that in many episodes they can represent or show how they celebrate Thanksgiving. So that is a typical turkey. People get together, friends or families, and it's a moment for them to thank life, God, or what they believe for everything positive they have in their lives. I remember watching some cartoons. Um, I also saw some episodes that have some celebrations shown, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, even other small celebrations like Mother's Days. Even you can see what they do, what they prepare. Um, in Australia, this is just something cultural. It's not about a celebration, but we know that there is a variety of animals that are there that are not present in other countries, or at least it's not in the same natural way. Because Australia has a very special setting. There are protected areas. Kangaroos are free. I remember watching a TV show that is, well, several TV shows have presented Australia and the kangaroos and all other animals. But there is one that I was watching some time ago, which is Modern Family, and there is an episode that is located in Australia, and they show the kangaroos and all the beautiful beaches and mountains. And there was a bridge that they said it was so famous and it's really high, and that's a way for us to see and enjoy a little bit of other culture and understand that there is something that the world can know, even if you don't travel to the place. And in Canada, for example, they love ice hockey. So it's one of the most important sports. Maybe it is the most important sport. In every country, they can have a preference for one specific sport. For example, in El Salvador, which is my country, I know football soccer is probably the favorite sport for the majority of Salvadoran people. So it's not that everybody loves it, but a big number of people do it. And if you go to a stadium on a day that there is a match, it's always going to be full. And also, at least in my country, people watch soccer matches from European teams, the World Cup. So that is like a big impact with soccer and people. In New Zealand, there is a Maori traditions. There are places that can have these cultural ethnic groups. They are respected. They live in their own world and they have their own traditions and cultures and rights. And we can learn a lot about them. Now, I just don't want to mention these places just because it's because we have access to the material easily and for free. But you can watch National Geographic or history documentaries about traditions of some tribes, and you can learn about it. And as a conclusion, basically, what I wanted to share with you today is a list of some countries that speak English. Obviously, this was not the complete list. I just selected a few of them. And also a little bit about their famous food and places, and also some cultural facts. So I hope that you have learned something. And if you have some extra comments about the countries that I mentioned, feel free to share them with me in the comments. So That's all for today. Bye, everybody.